Okay, so this is going to be a sample 9-card reading. You can see the cards up on the screen. I'm going to do a past, present, future. So we've got basically 3 cards in the past, then the 3 cards in the future, and then present, 3 cards in the future. So the way I kind of, when I'm reading, especially live with someone, I'm looking at the past. I'm looking for hints from them. Because if the past influence resonates, they're going to know what the situation's about. So when you kind of read the cards, you're thinking, okay, what is this situation about? So I'll just read myself, like as if I was to read myself. No specific question, just a general reading. I did not pull these. I pulled them randomly, but not as I would if I was doing a reading. So in the past, we have the Ace of Coins, the Magician, and the Page of Cups. So you'll be seeing the cards on the screen. I'm looking down at them, so that's why I'm looking away from the camera, just so you know. I spend a lot of time looking at the cards, more so, and since I have them on the screen, I'm not going to pull them up as much, maybe to point something out. So we have the Ace of Coins, Magician, and Page of Cups. The way I read the past is kind of like the story. That to me is the story. Where's this going? And where it's so cool to start with the past, because that way you can build up into the now and into the future. So if I was looking at this, I would say in the past there was something that was beginning, really felt solid in your life. You felt like it was really, I feel like the Magician would be a person in this case, because it's followed by the Page of Cups. I feel like it's something where, a person came in that was very kind of mysterious almost. I feel like the Magician is almost a mysterious thing, especially if I'm looking at these cards. So when I'm doing this reading, I'm looking at that Ace of Pentacles with the fog, smoke, whatever it is above it. So that made me feel a little mystical. But then we've got the Magician. He's got all the tools and he's walking into a mystic area. So it feels mysterious to me. So that's where I'm coming up with that. So I feel like it's very a mysterious situation. So whatever that Ace of Pentacles situation is, it feels very mysterious. But the really cool thing about it is it brings a lot of it brought a lot of happiness to the current, let's say to me. I'll just use me as an example. And so this brought a lot of happiness. It was a gift that is allowing me to give back as well. So I feel like this could be definitely a relationship. The reason why I say that with the Page of Cups, if you look at the Page of Cups, if you look at it in other cards, he's got a fish in his cup. Now in this deck they use buckets for cups, and he's pouring the water back out, and there's the bottle. I feel like the bottle was given to him. Don't know where I'm getting this from. This is just me reading. And he's also giving back. Like, okay, you gave this to me, now I'm going to give back. So I do feel like this is a relationship, and that's why that, that there was something given. So this was a situation that you felt like you were really given a really good, strong start. However, it felt very mysterious. So you were unclear almost about what was happening, but you were willing to sacrifice what you had been given and give that back. And as we move into the present, there's, like almost like a commitment, a real energy of commitment. I do not feel like it was really dual commitment. I want to take a step back too, because I had said too to look at the cards in the whole, and I didn't really do that this time. I just kind of ran right in. Yeah, I'm not going to. I'm going to keep going because that'll kind of spoil it now. So as I read forward, you can look at the whole thing because it's up on the screen. So, and then as we move forward into the present, we've got the Hierophant, which is usually about learning a lesson too. It could definitely be about learning a lesson, but it could feel like almost like it was a committed thing. Like you're starting a committed relationship or something, or committed to something that really you felt good about because you felt good enough to give something back. And when I see that, it's not a little gift back, it's a big gift back. So we go into that going, okay, so this is giving back, and I'm going in and I'm saying, okay, so this is a situation that was a very committed thing. It was important. The Hierophant, you know, can be about school, religion, the church, but to me, it's more something that's really important to you, and it could be in any area of life. So when you're looking at that and the situation, it's important. So I feel like there was something committed there. But in the present moment, we have the wheel smack in the center of the reading, which tells me that right now, that would be the right now. Like the Hierophant would be the previous, just a little bit of time ago. And also just keep a time frame in your mind about, like, you know, when you're doing a reading, how far do these past, present, futures go? To me, this is always no more than maybe 2 or 3 months max. I feel like these are things that are in motion, and this time frame is pretty condensed. I don't feel like I'm psychic. Some people say that I am, but I don't. For some reason, I don't identify like that. I identify as an intuitive. So I feel like intuition is more close in time frame. If I read out, I will say that this could happen, that could happen, this could happen, but to me it's a could, like if you follow these steps, etc. So I'll keep going. So in the center of the reading is the wheel, and the wheel is telling me that this right now is a new time. Time has moved past from this commitment. But there's a big thing there, so I feel like it's moving into something new. I'm going to be careful when I say it's moving into something new. It's like rotating in. So my cat's making the curtains go crazy. So if all of a sudden I have a ton of sun in my eyes, that's why. So, boy, yeah. So if you look at that Wheel of Fortune, let's take a look at that Wheel of Fortune. It's a clock on fire. So to me, it's almost like a warning. Like it's time that's on fire. In other words, like, you know, if you don't move forward with the time, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna burn away? It's a warning to me that if you don't act or move forward, you're just gonna be stuck in a cycle, like almost in the ashes of the clock. That's what I feel like. Now it's on fire, but it's in water. So it can't, well, I guess it could burn as far down as the water, you know, because the water will eventually put out the flames. But again, that stuck feeling. Water always makes me feel stuck. And so I feel like it is. It's almost like a stuck, like you're stuck in a time. So if it would be me, I'm reading myself, okay, or I'm going to say you, because I'm going to use that as my, who I'm reading, and say, you know, you're stuck. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Stuck. There was like moving forward. You felt really important, feeling really good about the situation. I feel like it's a relationship that started, you know, with pretty good intent, being the Ace of Pentacles, you know, really grounded, really a good earthy start. And it's almost like, you know, showing it off a little bit too. When I look at that Ace of Pentacles, it's like, look what I got, look what I got. And then there was commitment, and then now you're in, okay, that's what it is right now in the center. It's kind of like you were here and you feel kind of like you're stuck. Like, what's going on with this relationship? I'm going to say relationship. Where's it going? So the querent right now, to me, I would say, you know, you feel stuck right now. You're not quite sure of the movement of that wheel. Like, is it going forward? Is it spinning, you know, and making me dizzy? What's it doing? Well, it looks like here very soon there will be more of a commitment. I have the Lover's card. Their hands are held. Now, if you look at that Lover's card, again, they're in sand. So they're kind of stuck. You know, sand you can't move real fast in either. We've got one tree good. We got one tree on fire. We've got the ladder going up to, I would say, you know, the heavens, so to speak. You know, like a really good moving up, moving forward. They both have one hand behind their back and they're holding one hand. So while there is a commitment there and there's love there and there's a relationship and there's a togetherness, there's still the duality as well. You've got a fire and you've got a growing tree. And I think that speaks a lot to the when I look at this and look at this in the reading, I feel like it speaks a lot into the relationship, that you have to be willing to go into this relationship knowing that you have to take the good and the bad, and there's going to be things where at times you feel stuck, and there's going to be times where you feel really good and that you can move up and forward, but there could be fire and there could be growth. So there could be all of these different things, but that's a marriage, right? That's a relationship, and that's a warning or a reminder. When I'm reading, I'm saying this is a reminder, you know, that this is a relationship, and it's a good relationship. It's the Lover's card, but there is the warning of knowing or being reminded that relationships have their ups and downs. There's good and bad. Make sure that you're making the right decision. Is this someone you want, and that you can last through that fire? The tree's on fire. Can you last through that? And if so, like, then we're moving in to the next piece forward. And I would say that okay, I'm going to use the word you because it's really hard for me to do this reading this way. So the moon speaks to me of, in this deck, he's climbing out of the water. So a lot of times the moon reminds me of things aren't clear. Things aren't what they seem. Like a shadow could be casting something. So when I say that, when things aren't what they seem, it could be like, let's say you're I don't know, you're at work and a job was taken away from you, like a project, and it was given to somebody else. And you feel like it was because of XYZ, because you weren't doing a good enough job, or blah, blah, blah. And it turns out it has nothing to do with that at all. It turns out that they needed to free up your space so you could work on a more important project, or, you know, something like that, where you think it's one way and it's really not. It's the situation is not what you see. This card, I feel like it's coming out of that. Coming out of that, I don't know, the unclear, the shadows. This card, he's climbing up the ladder. He's coming out of the murk. He's coming out of the shadowy pieces, and he's up there going, okay, I can see now. I know where I'm going. So I feel like that this Aquarian is getting into this relationship and committing in this relationship, but has felt probably maybe a little bit unclear or unsure, or things didn't quite jive. But as they come out of the murky water, they're going, oh, I see what's going on. So we're doing that. The next card is the Eight of Cups. Or no, it's the Hermit. Oh, good. Okay, God, I thought it was the Eight of Cups. It's the Hermit, but it puts you in it's going to go the Hermit to the Eight of Swords. So we've got the Moon, then the Hermit. A lot of majors here. So as you're clearing your head and you're coming out of that murky place, you're going to take time to figure this out and to think about it, and it's going to be alone time, and you're going to do this alone. Keep in mind too that when you're reading the Hermit, especially as an action or a reminder to the Aquarian, anytime I see the Hermit, I always warn or let the Aquarian know that this can also be a warning to not ask other people's opinion about what you should do. The Hermit reminds me that this is time that you need to take to figure out what you need to do. And be really, really careful about asking other people's opinion, because it's not going to give you the closure or moving on or the clarity that you're really searching, because the Hermit's really about clarity. Where's he lighting that lantern? Where's that lantern going? What's it shining on? So this card's important to me, as you can tell, because I get excited about it. But in this case, if you look at the card, you know, he's in the waves, he's got his lantern, and he's got, I don't know, a stick, a fishing pole, something. He's on a quest, but he has his lantern, so he's not alone, he's not in the dark. He's just got to do this alone. He's got to come up with this answer, because for some reason, you know, we've got this relationship, but something was unclear and it just didn't feel good. And then you come out and you're like, oh wow, you know, I see, oh boy, I better think about this. This is the energies that I'm feeling. Like, that's exactly the flow I'm feeling with this. I'm going to think about it, and I need to come to the answer on this. I really need to figure this out. And then we come up with the 8 and the 8 of Swords, and she's definitely stuck. I mean, she's stuck in the mud. However, when it's the Swords, we have to remember that it's in the querent's mind. It's usually not a physical stuck. It can be. The 8 of Swords came up a lot during COVID, people being stuck, right? But she's stuck, and she's not facing the truth though. So I feel like the Hermit situation kind of went awry, and now maybe she was listening to other people or was coming across something different, and now she feels very stuck. Either that, or the Hermit was, and I would tell the Querent this, either that or you made a move to either not move forward with this relationship, or either or, and now you feel stuck. You feel like you can't move forward. And in this case, I would pull another card, because when I end a reading with kind of a tough card, especially in a relationship reading, to say that you're stuck, what does that mean and where does it go from there? So I would pull a couple more going, okay, the 8 of Swords, and this gets worse, 5 of Swords. However, to Justice, perfect. So, and you don't have to read until that. If you don't, you can read 1 or 2 cards out. And then if you're still not getting something good, then you say, okay, let's stop the reading, but let's do some action cards. What are the actions we're going to take to make this a smoother transition, and to remind the Querent that they have free will? And I think the tarot is about letting us know what will happen if we stay on the path that we're on. If we make changes on that path that we're on, these cards might not be correct in the future. That's how I feel. Some people don't feel that way, that divination's divination and this is what's going to happen regardless. I think most of the time, yes, because that's the direction we're going. And again, that's why I don't like to read too far out, because we start reading far out and we've got changes, we're not going in the same direction. For instance, you're reading someone's work career, and you're going to tell them, man, they're going to have this really great opportunity and all of these things. And then, 6 months later, they say, no, I got fired. Well, why would that be? Well, maybe, see, in my opinion, and it's happened to me, not that exact situation, but something similar, where, oh, everything's going to be good. I don't have to worry about it. And then you stop working as hard. You call in sick. Then all of a sudden you become less and less important in your job and you get fired. So that's what I mean. Like those things, if we don't keep moving in the same direction. So when you're doing a reading and you're having this really good reading and this Querent's going to have a really good job opportunity or really good love interest or blah, blah, blah. That's if you keep moving in the same direction. Keep putting the energies in that you've been putting into this to keep it moving. So then I have the 5 of Swords after. So to me, this 5 of Swords, I'll have to put this in the picture too. Well, here, this 5 of Swords shows him climbing out of a hard time. And that tells me that, yes, he's climbing out of this hard time. And that means that, I feel like coming out of the stuck, so to speak. It can be, not necessarily competition, but it's a fight. It's a fight to get out. So the 5 of Swords could be a fight, like a physical fight with other people, and not physical like punches, but a physical altercation or a emotional altercation. But to me, he's stuck, but he's working his way up that ladder, trying to get out, no matter what the cost is. And because because I feel like they're working on this, then they will move forward. And the next card we got was Justice, which is really important. What is justice? Justice means the right thing will happen. It's not always what we want to happen. It's the right thing. So if you are meant to be in this relationship, it's going to happen. If you are not meant to be in this relationship, it's not going to happen. So to me, I feel good about that, because I can say, the right thing will happen. You will learn truths, and you will make a good decision by learning the truths of the situation. So that is kind of how I would do a reading. I think that made sense. So you're kind of putting the story together, put your feelings into it. I would take that time to look at the entire set of cards before I'd move forward. But I hope that points out like what to look for, kind of gives you ideas too on how to play out cards a little bit when you come across a hard card. Hard cards are fine. They're hard. Life is hard sometimes. We have bad situations happen. I don't want to sugarcoat it for the client. I don't want to do that. However, I don't feel like you leave someone, when people are coming to you for readings, and even yourself, you're feeling like you want answers to something. Like you're kind of like, you know, I want to know where my life's going. I want to know what I need to do. So if it feels like the life isn't going in the direction they want, give them action cards to either deal with the situation easier, or how can we boot this away? Like, what do we need to do to make this a good outcome, or, you know, a different outcome? If it's a relationship, do we need to meet someone else, and how do we go about doing that? Or do we really need to take the time to sit and look at it, and this is how we need to handle it? All of those things. It's not fun to give hard news to someone, but it's all in the presentation as well. Realize they have feelings, that this can be hurting. It can hurt them. So we need to realize that too. And when you're one-on-one, it's a lot easier because you can see the person and you can go, oh, okay, that hurt, or that didn't, because you can watch their facial expressions. But when you're just doing a typed up reading, you can't always tell if you're, you know, doing it. Or like a lot of times I record readings either through the video or voice record, and I can't tell what they're thinking, but I just have to go with it. You have to say what you see and not make things all good. And that's sometimes why I don't always watch the videos online or the readings on YouTube. I've seen some hard ones. I read the ones where they say the hard stuff as well as the good stuff. There are so many readers I have watched reading after reading after reading after reading. My God, my life is not that good. It's just not. I want to hear the whole thing, all of it. I want to hear the good and the bad. So anyways, you want to do that, but you just need to know how to handle it, and then to give action steps appropriately. And for both, like if something good's going to happen, let them know, man, you need to keep going in the same direction. You're doing all the right things, but you got to keep doing them, because if you stop doing them, you know, if you're going to have this great opportunity in your job, but you just, you know, quit going to work, it ain't going to happen. So don't switch up your reality or the answer to this. You know, maybe work a little bit harder and it'll even be better than you think. So anyway, ideas on readings. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks.